Good evening. Let us stand together. And let us acknowledge our need for God and acknowledge His guidance through a recitation of what is called the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Amen. You may be seated.
Thank you, Reverend Bay. And let me again start by expressing appreciation to Reverend Bay for opening his church for this meeting. This time and the two other times that we've gathered together, he's been extremely gracious, and we appreciate his leadership and him opening this great church, Union Baptist Temple, so we can convene. Some housekeeping announcements, and then we're going to start. We have some cards and pens in the back. We found that this helped at the last couple of meetings for people who have questions, so we can keep our questions focused. The meeting tonight, excuse me, as you know, is a continuation of our response to the unfortunate death of young Santiago, who was killed, a student at Pennsylvania Avenue School. And we've had a series of meetings. The meeting tonight is a report-out meeting from the committees that we formed. And I'm very happy to report to you that we had some very good outcomes. The committees have been meeting. We thank the chair people. They have some very impressive things to report, and we are making progress. Before we call Sister Ruth Byatt, who, in addition to being a subcommittee person on the Violence Committee, she's also a school board member. She has a very outstanding project that committee, that subcommittee, under the leadership of Reverend Days, came up with. Let me make this announcement. The first meeting that we had here at Union Baptist Temple, when we talked about solutions, we said, unfortunately, it seems like we need to be proactive with regard to metal detectors. We discussed the question. We had Dwayne Parker, who was the head of security for the Atlantic City Public School System and at the high school. He indicated that this is something that he favored, and everyone agreed. We had a consensus of the people here. So tomorrow at 6 o'clock at the school board meeting, we're going to ask those of you who can to attend so we can indicate to the school board that this is something that we feel would be appropriate, something that we feel would be proactive. Unfortunately, those of us who are over a certain age, Brother Gilliam, we talk about it used to be a time that you didn't need metal detectors, but we're in a situation today that you need this. So we're going to ask those of you who can attend the school board meeting tomorrow, Tuesday at 6 o'clock, 1300 Atlantic Avenue, for that meeting, so we can express that to the school board. This is a proactive step that we think that we should take in order to protect our youngsters, to indicate that the schools are a gun-free system. And ironically, at the Atlantic High School East, the alternative school, a young man who was a student there, he was going to bring the gun into the school, but he knew that there was a metal detector there, put the gun in a bag, put it at a store, and someone looked out the school once when they saw him, and they reported it to the police, and they got the gun and the police. I cite that as an example. When people know that you have a facility that they have to get checked, then it doesn't make sense for them to bring a weapon in there. So the metal detectors is a positive, proactive step that we can take. We encourage you to come tomorrow, 6 o'clock at the school board. We'd like to thank our brother Greg DiPiano, Sergeant DiPiano, who's a retired police officer, who's head of Toys for Kids. He has refreshments that he brought directly after the meeting. If there's no disturbances from Fareed or anybody else, we're going to invite you to have light refreshments. He has water and pastries and all. We thank you very much for that, sir, and also for providing some gifts for the next portion that Sister Byard is going to talk about, Toys for Kids, a very good charity, and we appreciate your support and your generosity. Without further ado, Ruth Byard, who's going to take us into the next phase of our activity, the Committee on Violence, headed by Reverend Days. And let me say this before I turn it over to Reverend Days. Wanted to be here. He had a meeting in Trenton, so he could not be here, but he is continuing to support, and he's asked me to tell you that he appreciates the committee and everyone who has been involved. So without further ado, Sister Byard, who's going to take us into the next phase of our meeting. Sister Byard.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for your support. And our contest, we started at the Pennsylvania Avenue School because, as you all are aware of the young man who was shot near the school. So we asked the school where Dr. Small, she's the principal, we asked the children, what could we do? What can they tell us to do to stop the violence? So we asked for an essay of 250 words. We had 7 of Pennsylvania Avenue School children to submit, well, it was more than that, but we selected 7 to submit essays to us as to what we can do to help stop the violence. And we had prizes for the top student, which is Rashawn Simmons. He's here with his family. Come on up. And Miss Betty Lewis is going to introduce all of the children. So I just wanted to let this young man know, because there was some violence in his family a while back. Mr. Reynolds was related to this gentleman, but his prize was $250 for his essay. And what I did, I gave him gift certificates and some cash in his pocket so he can do what he wants to do with the money. It would not be us telling you what to do.
He's received 3 gift cards for $50 and $100 in cash. We have Councilman Gilliam, Minister Fareed Abdullah, and Mayor Guardian, who are going to present the next 6 winners. Your second, third, and fourth. Your second, third, and fourth. We have M.D. Khan, who is our second place winner. He's receiving a boat ride for 4 members of his family. Come on up, baby. Yeseda Santana is the third prize winner. She's also receiving a boat ride. Janaea Atkinson is the 4th place winner. She's receiving a boat ride. Excuse me if I mispronounce any of your names. Burtis Borders is the 5th place winner, and they're receiving a gift card. They're not here. We'll make sure that they receive it. Kelsey Perla is the 6th place winner. And Sanjit Hassan is the 7th place winner. We asked these students to write essays as to what they felt as though we as adults and could do to make sure that they are safe, and what could be done to curb the violence in Atlantic City. And we thank all of our participants, and we thank our presenters, Mayor Guardian, Councilman Gilliam, and Minister Fareed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Betty and Ruth, for your support and your leadership. Let me just say to our public officials, we also have Vince Mazzio, who's here. He's Assemblyman. Vince, stand up so he can see you. The committee's idea is to do this at every school in Atlantic City under the leadership of Ruth and Betty. So we're going to ask you, public officials, to be so informed, because we're going to come to you to solicit you to help us with the prize money. The first prize money was Reverend Days. He gave the first prize money, and Greg DiPiano Toys for Kids provided the other prizes. And we want to thank Reverend Days and Abstentia, and we want to thank Greg DiPiano for the prizes. But we're going to be asking, thank you. We want to, thank you. Dr. Smalls, thank you so much. I think she's here. Thank you. We're going to let Dr. Smalls say something. We appreciate your leadership and your support.
Good evening, everyone. First, I would like to say I'm extremely proud of all of my students. And at the last rally we attended, I was appointed the education chairperson. And what we're doing to continue our efforts, we're having a youth summit on this Thursday, February 27th at the Atlantic City High School, in which we've targeted students from grades 6 through 8, because what we realized, the piece that was missing was the student voice. So at that summit, many of the topics and the questions that were discussed at the two rallies, our students will have a chance to articulate and have civic dialogue amongst their peers. So that's what we're doing to allow our students to have a voice and to offer solutions to problems in the city. So that's part 2. Thank you, and congratulations again to all of our students.
Before you go, these are the prizes for kids who weren't there, so can you make sure they get them? Okay. So thank you very much, Dr. Small. I think that indicates through what Ruth Byard and Betty is doing, and Sister Small, that this is an ongoing activity. This is not just a one-time feel-good movement, that we're going to keep going. What school is next? Oh, I'm sorry. And Miss Smith. And Miss Smith. And Miss Smith. Yeah. Yeah. Next, we're going to do New York Avenue, the same format, and we're going to thank you, Sergeant, for your support. We're going to be asking for help. And this is something really that we need to highlight these youngsters. We're going to make copies of their essays and give it to the press. I don't know if the press is going to be able to be here tonight, but I'm sure they're going to be cooperative. We're going to try to get the press to print these essays. Okay, and counsel.
No, I just wanted to make sure we basically continue to show support and show the kids that we want to support them. So we're going to put these essays on the city website and potentially, you know what I mean, develop some kind of free writing course or something.
Thank you very much. And so Sister Byard indicates that the next school is going to be New York Avenue. Okay. We're entering into a report here, Mayor. Violence is a problem, not a solution. Can you see this in the back? Violence is a problem, not a solution. Stop it together. That's what the committee is suggesting as the theme as they go forward. Violence is a problem, not a solution. Let's stop it together. Thank you so much for your work. Reverend Days asked me to read the rest of the report, which we've already got into. The Violence Committee is recommending that we develop a community violence prevention and mediation team. This team will consist of 3 full-time community liaison persons that will be employed permanently to the most violent plagued sections of our city. And I understand that that proposal is forthcoming. Is that right, Minister Fareed? Okay. Objective would be mediating conflict resolutions, life skills, job training, referral services. These positions will be funded by grants and fundraising efforts. So I imagine at the next meeting, you'll have more for that. Okay. We recommend that we host a male conference this June, and I understand that that has been moving. They have a site for it. I believe that's supposed to be at Martin Luther King Complex. June 7th is the date? Okay, there's a date, June 7th, and we'll be hearing more about that. A youth committee has been established out of that subcommittee, and the committee has developed 5 subcommittees: Committee on Youth, Committee on Adopt a Block, Committee on Community Liaisons, Committee on Young Male Conference, and the Committee on Anti-Violence Essay Contest. Did anybody in any of those subcommittees want to say anything in addition to what we already have here? Come forward, sis. Come on. Okay. All right, let her first and then Dr. Small. And you're talking about Dr. Blockman, who had a very spirited meeting.
Amen. Basically, we're targeting right now in the first village, which is the village immediately across from Browns Park. And what we're doing on March the 15th at 1 p.m., we're going to go door to door and canvass the area to see what the needs are of the people and also to give them some referrals. We're also working with some of the youth from the youth committee. We're hoping to have a big assembly with some of our young people from the community, and we have a guy